The writing community on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube is a wonderful place. I feel like it's almost my second home. I feel so loved and included and welcome there. But all families, all homes will have their differences and their downsides. And I don't want to sit here and just down talk the community. However, I just want to point out a few negatives because I think it's better to be safe than sorry. So when I talk about the writing community, I'm going to focus mostly on Instagram because I feel like there is definitely more of a sense of community there compared to my other platforms that I'm on. However, a lot of the things I talk about can be applied to both TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, especially for things like reels. You know, on TikTok you've got the videos and then YouTube you've got shorts, so they are all kind of interlinked. My first little warning about the writing / bookish community is the pressure to stay up late writing. Now that sounds like I've gone in really specific to start with, but actually I think this is a bit broader than it comes across. I've seen this in many different forms. I've seen it in posts, in stories, in reels. There's this sort of expectation that if you're a writer, you stay up till the early hours of the morning writing. You sacrifice a healthy sleep schedule, a healthy work / life / writing schedule to write. And I just want to say, it doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to stay up till 3 AM to write. If you can wake up at 8 AM and you have an hour before you have anything to do at 9 AM, you can use half that time to write. As I said, I see this specifically a lot on reels. I get a lot of reels come up on my explore page being like, I don't know, POV your last 2 brain cells at 3 AM when you're trying to get some sentences down, or you know, the difference between writing at 3 AM versus writing in the middle of the day. So even though it's not direct, oh, you're a writer, you need to stay up till 3 AM writing, it's very much implied in a lot of the content that's put out, specifically on Instagram and probably TikTok, I would say as well. Personally, I don't think I've once ever stayed up any later than, well, I've definitely never stayed up any later than about 1 o'clock to do anything. Personally, I need my sleep. And look, I've published a book. I've published a whole book and it didn't take me sacrificing my sleep schedule to do it. And that's not to say that you can't stay up till 3 AM. If you want to, if that works for you, go ahead. However, there's this sort of inbuilt pressure to have an unhealthy lifestyle. Writing can be fun, it can be carefree, it doesn't have to be so serious that you're staying up till these early hours of the morning, gotta do this, gotta write this, gotta edit this. So, you know, next time you see a reel or a story that's just saying, oh, I'm a writer, of course I'm staying up till 3 AM, just think to yourself, it doesn't have to be like that if you don't want it to be like that. Continuing on with my theme about pressure, there's another sort of inbuilt pressure, I think, to fit the mold. And what I mean by this is a lot of writers are naturally, well, of course, they're creatives. You know, a lot of them are majoring English if they're in college, or, you know, studying English at uni, and if not English, maybe sometimes it'll be languages or history or something quite closely related. And although there is representation, you know, a couple of my good friends on writer Instagram study biology and nursing, I think it is. So although there is that representation, it's not as common. And I just think, and I'm going to add in a little personal anecdote here, I study computer science, which is probably the furthest away from writing, English, etc. that you could possibly be. And sometimes I do feel a bit alienated. You know, my uni work is very, very different from my personal interests, aka writing. Especially in my first year of uni, I found it really, really difficult to juggle the two of them, because if I was studying on computer science, I would completely forget about writing. But if I was studying on writing, obviously that was sacrificing my uni work time. Whereas if you're studying English at uni, let's say, it's kind of easy to remember, oh, writing, editing, because you're going to lectures and seminars, you're talking about writing, you're talking about prose, poetry, etc. It's kind of a constant reminder, and then it makes it a little easier to integrate the two. So I do feel quite alienated sometimes when it comes down to what I'm studying, because I feel like I don't fit the mold. But this is a reminder to me and to you guys that you don't have to have been one of those kids who loved Greek mythology when they were younger. You don't have to be a history nerd. Personally, I'm going to admit it now, no shame, I hated history. Least favourite subject ever. Absolutely hated it. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy English, that's why I didn't do it A-level. For me, studying English, just in the same way as studying art, took the fun out of the subject for me. But anyway, that's a little tangent just about me. But yeah, you don't have to study these things. You don't have to be obsessed with these things. You can just enjoy writing casually. You can just enjoy writing on the side of whatever STEM subject you may be doing, as an example. Kind of a little extension from that is that there are people on these sites whose writing is their career, and I think it's kind of hard to remember that sometimes. You know, I'll see some of my favorite authors posting reels, posting posts, posting videos, etc., and you've just got to remember, you know, that is their life, that is their career. It's easy to get sidetracked, maybe thinking if they're posting every day, I should be as well. But it's setting an unrealistic standard, because think, you might be a student, you might be working other jobs. Writing is not your entire life. As much as you might want it to be, as much as that might be the aspiration, it isn't right now. And I think you just need to keep grounded and remind yourself of that. This isn't your career yet, and that's fine, but it just means that the amount of work you put in isn't necessarily going to be able to be the same as someone who has this as their full-time job. Also, posting consistently, posting every day, posting a post and a reel and keeping stuff up on your stories can be exhausting. My 2024 resolution was to stay active on my Instagram at the very least, and so far I have managed to do it. It's been about a month and 3 weeks, so almost 2 months, and the reason that was my resolution is because for the past 2 years, probably since the build up to publishing my book, I have been really bad at staying consistent and staying active, and that's partly because it's exhausting and partly because it's addictive. And what I mean by that is, when you get back into the rush of it, when you're just coming back from a break, maybe you think, oh, I've got all these good ideas all of a sudden, oh, why did I neglect this in the first place? Oh my god, I love doing this. I want to post and post and post and make loads of reels and do this all at once. And then you do this all at once for a few weeks at a time, and then you start running out of ideas, and slowly you just get really burnt out and really exhausted by it all, and then you stop and you get stuck in a vicious circle, or at least that's my experience. I know I've had some friends with exactly the same experience. But it is so easy to get hooked when you're just coming back, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, why did I stop doing this in the first place? I love doing this and I want to be here forever. So it can be really addictive. And I would just like to say, watch out for that, because you can burn yourself out, you can get completely addicted to it, spend way too much time on it, your priorities might be all wrong with your school/work life. Just keep the balance. Following on from what I was just saying about me constantly going back and forth, sort of coming in and out of posting a lot and being consistent, one of the things I found, which I think must have just been a coincidence to be honest with the timings of when I was coming back and forth, was that there can be a lot of drama, specifically on writer Instagram. And I don't know what it was, but it was something about every time I came back, there was something else. And the thing about it is, they were all so petty or so insignificant, because I couldn't tell you what it was now. If someone asked me, oh, what was the drama about in summer? I don't know, I don't remember. It was petty and insignificant. And yet, that too can be so tiring. You just want to come back, talk to some friends, post a little bit, and then you've got people arguing in comments, you've got people going at each other in the comments of reels, you've got people saying, you know, people are hating on their content or on their book, or hating towards creators, and then those people are defending other people, and then people are defending them, and it's just really exhausting. I think what I found is that recently, actually, I haven't experienced so much, but there has been, in the past 2 or so years that I've been on there has been a lot, and I would just like to say, watch out for it, and if you can, stay out of it, because at the end of the day, you're probably going to end up saying something you regret, you're going to end up defending someone without any real context, or you're gonna just do stuff you don't want to do, you're gonna get hooked into stuff you didn't really care about in the first place. Just take a step back, don't get involved in petty drama. This is a tiny little thing that, to be honest, is not even related that much to the rest of the video, but spam bots on Instagram in comments, I get them absolutely all the time. You'll get these like fake writing accounts, fake editing accounts and stuff. You'll put something in the comments saying, DM me, check your DMs, or I've messaged you, and look here, it's not real. Basically, it's just a load of fake promo accounts. And although that isn't related to real people, I would just say, watch out for it. Watch out for getting scammed and, you know, people asking for personal information. Stay away from that. Block them if you need to, but honestly, the simplest thing to do is just not reply, especially if they are spam bots, etc. You don't need to feel bad for hurting their feelings, because it's just a bot and it's not going to know if you've had it. I think I'd like to say, as a little conclusion to all of this, basically, it can be a lot, it can be tiring, it can cause you to burn out if you're not careful. Just take a step back. If you ever feel yourself getting too addicted or getting stressed by something or getting into drama, it's okay to just take a step back. Okay, you might have promised your followers that you'll post every day, but what's the worst that can happen if you miss a day? People will notice. They probably won't even say anything, to be honest. They'll just notice that you didn't. And it doesn't matter, because maybe you'll post one tomorrow. Maybe you'll post one next week. It's okay to take a step back. If you make promises, you can unpromise them. It's fine. If you've built a nice community around you, they will understand if you need to take a step back. And if your followers are saying, why aren't you posting? I thought you said you'd post, even though you've just said, sorry, I need a break, then maybe they aren't as supportive as you think, and maybe you should ignore them. Because what does their opinion mean really if they're forcing you to do something you don't want to do? I know this video is a bit of a downer compared to some of my other videos, but I think it's important to talk about these sort of nitty-gritty things that people don't really want to talk about, because it's not exactly a fun subject. Anyway, even if you didn't enjoy, I hope you at least learned something from this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.